Over the years, our kids have had a lot of illnesses. 6 kids means a lot of childhood sniffles and coughs. And when our kids weren't feeling well, it affected our entire home. Luckily, some clever guys in Brisbane have come up with the perfect solution: Rehydrate.
Rehydrate are delicious drinks that rehydrate up to 3 times faster than water alone, packed with essential electrolytes. Rehydrate is one of the few rehydration products that is safe for all ages. Stock up at Coles and be prepared whenever illness strikes.
This is the Happy Families podcast with Dr Justin Coulson. We are Luke and Susie, and this is the podcast for time-poor parents who just want answers now.
Justin, it's great to chat to you, and we thank you so much for your time today. And we thank you in advance for sharing a story that's all too personal for you when you received an unexpected phone call from your daughter when you were away. Would you like to share the story with us?
I will, but before I do that, first of all, there are some mature themes. Secondly, I'm not going to state anything about which of my children or whereabouts or how it happened, except to say that I have 6 daughters, so it could have been any of them.
Yep.
But there was an incident while I was away a certain period of time ago where I received a phone call from my daughter. She was clearly distressed. That day, I'd been talking to 800 kids in Melbourne about making safe, healthy decisions in the use of their mobile devices, specifically regarding pornography and sexting. And so I'm coming off the back of this long day talking about these heavy topics with all of these kids, and my daughter rings me and she says, "Dad, you know that friend? He lives a long way away from us. We've been friends for years. I've just had an exchange with him via text message, and he's asked me to send nude images of myself to him." I said straight away, "Well, I'm so glad you called me. Thank you for calling me. Tell me a bit more." It ends up that she hadn't sent anything, which was wonderful. She called me, which was great, and we were able to have a really important conversation. Now, we've had many of these conversations before, but we were able to continue that conversation, make sure she was safe, and then deal with the matter appropriately. It was a pretty big shock for me. Yeah. But, you know, the hardest thing for me, and the thing that really hit home, Luke and Susie, was I heard myself saying these words to my daughter. You know, next time this happens, it's really important that... And I stopped myself at that point and I thought, no. This should never have happened in the first place. Yeah. Why am I saying next time? But we've got to, I guess, be prepared as parents for the fact that we live in a world now where young adolescents, but both males and females, although it is predominantly the boys that are asking, are soliciting lewd and inappropriate and explicit images from the kids they go to school with, the kids they grew up next door with. They're lifelong friends in some cases. And we need to know how to deal with it as parents, not as the ambulance at the bottom, although sometimes we've got to have that as well, but as the fence at the top of that metaphorical cliff.
We're going to talk about some of the things that we can do as parents about this massive topic. More with Dr Justin Coulson next.
Parenting is the most important thing we will ever do, so it's important that we get it right. But with so much pressure, demands and advice, it's hard to know what our children really need. Using the very best scientific research and then turning it into an easy-to-read book and CD, What Your Child Needs From You helps you connect with, understand and teach your children in meaningful ways. What Your Child Needs From You by Dr Justin Coulson is the parenting book that offers the solutions to make you a better parent and help your family to be happier. Available in paperback or CD at happyfamilies.com.au.
It's a Happy Families podcast with Dr Justin Coulson. We're Luke and Susie.
We're chatting to Dr Justin Coulson today on the back of an experience he had with one of his daughters who received a text message from a male friend of hers asking for inappropriate photos of her to be sent to him.
So adult concepts here. Yeah. We're just putting that warning out if you've just joined us that we're talking about something that's pretty big.
We are.
As a dad, getting this phone call to say that this had been happening.
Yeah.
I can imagine, Justin, it was equally that you were pleased that you got the phone call as you were probably horrified that your daughter had to face this situation, but you're glad that when she did, she was able to reach out to you.
Well, I would rather she never had the situation.
Yeah.
But you know what? The worst thing is, Luke, it's almost inevitable now. If you have children, they're going to be exposed to this kind of thing. And I've heard from parents of children as young as 9 and 10 who have people who are being explicit and inappropriate with their children from making those kinds of requests from such a young age. There's a few things that we need to go over here. First of all, let me state something that I've said again and again and again. Our children do not need smartphones. They need smart parents. And smart parents give their kids dumb phones. We've got to monitor what technology our children are using, where they're using it and how they're using it. Now, my daughter, when she received this request, was in a public place with family and friends, and yet it still came through. Now, she would never have acted on it, which I'm so grateful for. But the fact is, had she been in a bedroom, had it been late at night, had she been feeling a little bit low, those are all risk factors that increase the likelihood that a child may send something that could come back to haunt them. Another thing that my daughter did, which was excellent, was number one, she kept the evidence, and number two, she told someone. Research tells us that the two biggest mistakes our kids are making is that they're deleting it and they're telling no one.
Yes.
In fact, once I dealt with the situation, I discovered that same boy had made similar requests from at least 2 or perhaps more other girls. In other words, if our kids don't tell us, somebody else is going to be harmed as well. It's almost certain. So they need to keep the evidence and they need to tell us. Number 3, at that point, we've got to make sure we don't do our nana. We can't go off our block. What we've got to do is stay calm, make sure our daughter is okay, or our son if it's a boy. And then we need to work out the best thing to do. If we know the family, we might choose, in some circumstances, to give them a call and say, I don't know how to tell you this, but my daughter has just received these messages from your son. Most parents are good parents, and they will be devastated to hear it, and they will want to act immediately to remedy the situation. If we don't feel that we can do that, though, we need to go to the police. Sexual harassment, production of child pornography, if it's gone that far, these things are illegal and kids need to learn. Now, hopefully, the kids, unless they've been doing something really serious, won't be charged. They'll just learn their lesson. I know if I got in, if me as a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid today, I don't know if I would have survived like I did back in the 90s. It's a very different world, and it's a lot of pressure on our kids to get it right, and heavy penalties if they get it wrong. But the point is, we need to go to the police. Now, every now and again, I hear stories from parents who say, I've been to the police, and the police just said something like, I wish that happened to me. Some police aren't supportive. Most are brilliant, but every now and again you come across one that's not. If that's the case, the federal government has a website about e-safety. It's called the Office of the Children's E-Safety Commissioner. They have all of the help that you need, and they will pursue it, and they will make sure that this never happens again to you or to your child, and that offender doesn't do it either.
Dr. Justin Coulson, a big topic, but a very important one as parents for us to not put our head in the sand over, for us to actually have our eyes open, head up, and address what needs to be done now to prepare ourselves for a time when our kids are going to need to reach out to us. Thank you so much for your time today.
All right. Thanks, Luke. Thanks, Susie.
For more info and all of Justin's books, podcasts and programs, you can jump online to happyfamilies.com.au and to find out how to have Justin speak at your school, or you can come along to your organisation as well, go to justincoulson.com.